KMOX News Time is 8:03. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Doug McKelvin. It's an orange air quality day. Right now, mostly sunny and 79 downtown at the Arch.
Tire blowout, just a boom, 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 boom.
A boom, a jolt, a crash, then horror when a megabus driving from Chicago to St. Louis smashed into a concrete overpass pillar on I-55. KMOX News team coverage begins with Michael Calhoun near the scene in Litchfield, Illinois.
Michael Martin was headed for Kansas City.
I was asleep, and I woke up and people was bloody. That's all I know.
He wasn't the only one dozing off to the rhythm of the road during a long drive. Megan Arms, on her way home to St. Charles after an overseas trip to Jordan, was jolted by the impact.
My first thought was just get off the bus and help as many people off the bus as possible.
Those who were okay were taken to the community center and then put on another bus for St. Louis despite a thunderstorm.
The bus driver lost control, crashed into a concrete pillar.
I'm Bill Reeker. Many on that megabus told the story of how it began with a flat tire and the bloody scene after it hit the pillar.
Those with more life-threatening or more major injuries were either air evac'd or taken by ambulance directly from the accident scene.
Of the 38 who required medical attention, 5 taken to St. Louis, 2 of them children, 7 and 11 years old at Children's Hospital. Later came word that one person had died, a 25-year-old Indian student at Mizzou, identified as Aditi Avad. There were some 30 ambulances responding to the accident, taking patients to nearly a half dozen surrounding hospitals. As one hospital official put it, we've had practice because of that school bus accident in May.
In that accident, the school bus rear-ended a tractor-trailer on I-55. Of the 41 students and chaperones on board, 10 were taken to the hospital.
Nothing's normal on the Mississippi River.
That may be an understatement from Nick Nichols, operations manager for the St. Louis Port Authority, especially for commercial barge operators who had to deal with a flooding Mississippi just last year. But this summer, they're watching the same river evaporate beneath their boats.
This is Brett Bloom live along the Mississippi River near the Lewis and Clark statue, which last year was completely hidden by the river, but now towers above it. The gauge here shows just 1 foot of water. Of course, that doesn't mean there's only 1 foot of water in the Mississippi at this point, but it's 1 foot above sea level when it normally would measure 10 to 12 feet. But Ed Hedleyman, who's senior operations manager for Ingram Barge, says the extremely low river level has been devastating to their bottom line in the form of lost time and lost profits.
It turns our Mississippi waterway into a one-way street. There were places in the past where 2 tows could meet, upbound and southbound tows.
Now they have to go single file, plus barges are running aground every day. Way up north, Ingram alone has a dozen barges sitting idle because the Mississippi's closed at St. Paul, with dredging crews frantically trying to dig a 9-foot channel to get those boats moving again. Reporting live on the riverfront, Brett Bloom, News Radio 1120 KMOX.
Rivers turning to streams, wells drying up, oak trees in some parts of Missouri dying off, and no rain in sight. But the drought of 2012 is having a much bigger impact on people who make their living from the land.
The Madison County, Illinois Farm Bureau is calling this year's drought-stricken crop the worst they've seen in 35 years. KMOX's Kevin Colleen visited one hard-hit farm near Edwardsville.
600 acres as far as you can see of nothing but dry, brown, stunted corn.
I've never experienced a year like this.
Farmer Mike Campbell says the corn stalks that should be 7 feet tall are only about 4 feet high, and some ears are as tiny as a cigar.
It's a drought and there's nothing you can do about it, so I actually try not to look at this garden field much.
Campbell says he has crop insurance, but even with that, he expects to lose about $100,000 this season, money burned up by the sun. Kevin Colleen, News Radio 1120, KMOX.
The drought conditions have also opened the door to scam artists. According to police, 2 people are knocking on doors in Ladue and Creve Coeur, posing as water company employees.
And Detmer is a spokeswoman for American Water Company, and she tells KMOX 2 imposters claim they are checking the water quality.
We would never knock on a door and request that. And secondly, our employees will always have their identification with them. And anytime a customer is approached by someone who claims to be a water company employee, they should always ask for that identification.
Now, Detmer does not have much of a description on the suspects. American Water serves around 1 million customers in St. Louis County and parts of St. Charles County. If you are suspicious, you should call American Water's 24-hour customer service center or the police. Maria Kina, News Radio 1120, KMOX.
KMOX News Time is 8:08.
This is John Butler in the newsroom. St. Louis police have released a photo of the man they are looking for in connection with an alleged assault on 3 girls 2 weeks ago. Police allege that 32-year-old Donrico Holmes forced 3 girls to take off their shirts, that he fondled their breast, and then told them to remove their clothing. His photo is now posted on KMOX.com. Police are asking for your help.
Come January, there will be a familiar name back at the top of the Florissant Police Department. Timothy Lowry, the son of longtime police chief and mayor Robert Lowry Sr., is being promoted from major to chief. Timothy Lowry tells KMOX one of his priorities will be keeping in close contact with residents.
We will continue to work with our citizens to, for their concerns in their neighborhoods. They're concerned about a problem in their neighborhood, and that's going to be our concern.
Lowry will serve as assistant chief until he becomes chief January 1st.
Lowry will replace Bill Carabas, who's been the chief in Florissant for 11 years. Meanwhile, in neighboring Hazelwood, they're still looking to replace Carl Wolf, the longtime chief who retired in June. Mac Prince, who owns Magic Razor Barbershop in Old Town Florissant, says it's an important time for North St. Louis County.
I would really hate to see this part of North County go like Jennings did. I'd hate to see that.
And Florissant resident Bill Pochek believes that with the hiring of Lowry, Florissant got its part right.
He's been with the police department for a number of years, so he probably knows the ropes, and that's very important in that job to know what to do.
In Old Town Florissant, Brian Kelly, News Radio 1120 KMOX.
KMOX News Time 8:10. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the program. Let's start with Captain Roger Brand. He's aboard the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, Airborne 1.
Well, for the most part, it's been one of our typical quiet Friday mornings. Eastbound 70 is wide open. Lake St. Louis to Lamberfield, no issues. Westbound 270 through Madison and North St. Louis counties pretty much back on the go now. Eastbound 64. Downtown, you're going to find delays coming up through Jefferson past Union Station because only that right lane's open due to the road work. What else can they expect, Scott?
And no delays anymore across the Poplar Street Bridge heading in from Illinois to downtown. Westbound, taking the King Bridge is really the only slow spot. You slow down just past the railroad overpass, that single lane merge. And McKinley's in great shape coming in from Granite City. Northbound 270, just one slow spot between Big Bend and Doherty Ferry, and no slow spots on eastbound 44 coming in from Eureka, Lewis Road through 141. I'm Scott Mercado in the KMOX Dobbs Tire and Auto Airborne 2.
Heat advisory in effect from noon until 8 today. Sunshine with some patchy clouds, hot and humid, high of 99. It is 79 right now.
In just 5 days, the primary will be over, and the candidates seeking a place on the November ballot will be decided.
It's silly time, and all kinds of crazy charges are being thrown against the wall.
Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder commenting on his GOP opponent's attack ads as he debated State Senator Brad Lager on the Mark Reardon Show. It got personal with Lager not backing off on his ad campaign.
I don't believe that we should have a lieutenant governor that spends $54,000 of the taxpayers' money on luxury hotels and thinks that's okay.
And the lieutenant governor's response?
Now, as to the hotel rooms, my opponent knows that he's disseminating misinformation. The hotel rooms were the lowest government rate.
The entire exchange on KMOX.com. Just click on the Mark Reardon Show tab.
From the KMOX Business Desk, if you haven't bought your school supplies yet, this could be the weekend to do it. The Missouri sales tax holiday runs today through midnight Sunday. Some cities, counties, and taxing districts have opted out, and Illinois is not part of the tax holiday at all. Michelle Corey with the Better Business Bureau says take your school list with you and shop around.
Because there will be a number of stores selling the same items, but at different prices. And then you'll also find a range of quality of product items.
Only certain items are eligible for the Missouri sales tax holiday. Clothing of $100 or less, school supplies not over $50, and personal computers valued at $3,500 or less.
The voice of the Cardinals, Mike Shannon, joins our Tom Ackerman in 3 minutes. KMOX News Time is 8:12.